What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Tony A's movie chat review here on my channel. I'm glad you guys can join me today. Now, before we get into the review, I just wanted to say that I've been very sick these past couple of days, and I haven't had time to do any reviews, but thankfully I'm here now. And I can't wait to talk about today's review. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm going to be talking about a film that I had just seen last night. It just came out this weekend. It's going to break multiple records. I can't wait to talk about it. Without further ado, let's talk about Fast and Furious 10. Fast X, or Fast 10, the latest Fast and Furious film, is directed by Louise Leterrier and stars Vin Diesel, John Cena, Charlize Theron, Michelle Rodriguez, and of course introducing Jason Momoa as the villain. Now, I'm very excited to talk about this film because initially my first thoughts were that I wasn't very excited for this film. I saw the trailers and I kind of got excited, but I wasn't sure what to expect. What I got instead was maybe my favorite film in the franchise. This movie is a total blast. Fast and Furious 10 is a total blast. I had so much fun watching this. I never thought that I would consider this one of the better films in the franchise, and I'm going to get into why in a minute. First off, the story of this film is pretty straightforward. It's, of course, the exhilarating adventures of Dominic Toretto and his family. Here, we instead get a new story where we have a new villain, and there's a bunch of other things which I can't spoil because the film just came out. I'm already riding the high from seeing it last night, and I'm going to see it again this week. It's fun, it's quick, it's tightly edited. The director, Louise Leterrier, seems like a perfect and also admirable fit for the Fast and Furious franchise. His films are quick, fast, funny. I found myself laughing the majority of this film. This is the funniest film in the Fast and Furious franchise, which I did not expect. And for the film having as dark a tone as it is, that is no small feat for a director like Louise Leterrier. The acting here is also very impressive. We get Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel might just be one of the best action stars working today. His energy, as well as just the character that he's created here. I know some people think that he's created a parody of himself, a parody of Dominic Toretto in these films. These films have evolved into self-parody. I don't feel that case. I find it particularly refreshing, but also keep all the emotions in check. He feels more human in this film than he does in any of the other films. What Mr. Toretto has to go through in this film is possibly the biggest threat. Speaking of threats, let's talk about the villain. Jason Momoa is a character I can't spoil, but he's the villain in this film. He's got a pretty broad range, as he was the DC Universe Aquaman, and he's had a bunch of other roles that suited him well. But he seems much more comfortable and more at home and confident and collective, and just a total blast to watch as a villain. The villain of this film is just so grand and over the top, but it uses all this over the top energy to create a Joker-inspired Fast and Furious villain. Now, most of the Fast and Furious villains have been great fighters, great tactical officers, but here, this guy eats up every ounce of scenery. I could go into a separate video about why this villain works. Best thing that I can say about Fast X is the filmmaking. The filmmaking in this film is spectacular. This is one of the best looking action films from the Fast and Furious franchise. I'd even say that it rivals Furious 7's direction from James Wan as the best of the series. The action scenes are close, tight-knit, and just have this grand epic scale to them. They stand as some of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise. I know some people could criticize it as being like a superhero film franchise now, but personally, I'm leaning more towards this. And now, I'm going to get into the biggest and possibly most important aspect of this film. Let's talk about the rating. The rating of this film, much like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 this year, this film pushes the boundaries of its PG-13 rating to not its furthest limit, but it does have a couple of moments where I didn't think I was watching a PG-13 film. This is hands down the darkest and probably the most high stakes and mature human Fast and Furious film of the franchise. It has all the elements I'm looking for and more. Now, I can't really spoil too much about what happens in the film, and I'm going to talk about one more aspect here. There's a small tribute to Paul Walker in this film that I did not expect, and it was not only refreshing to see, considering that these films have kind of forgotten that, but thankfully they don't forget that Paul Walker was a part of this franchise. This one scene almost brought a tear to my eye, showing the massive improvements over F9. Wrapping things up here, I had a blast with Fast X, Fast and Furious 10. This is one of the best looking, best sounding, best feeling action films. The sound in this film, the racing scenes, the action, the pulse pounding, adrenaline fueled rush of these films. The franchise is back, and it's back in style in the smartest way. The direction in this film was fantastic. I can't wait to see what Louis Leterrier does with the other two films if he is directing. Stay tuned. There is 2 post-credit scenes that completely change how you view this film. Also, this film ends on a cliffhanger, which I didn't expect. It's better than Furious 7. It's better than Fate of the Furious. I would even say that it is right there with Fast 5 and Fast and Furious 6 for best film of the franchise. I'm going to give Fast X or Fast 10 a 9.5 out of 10. I had a blast with this film. The villain is epic. The scope is epic. The action scenes are so over the top, but so adrenaline fueled and fun. It's like the director took millions of energy drinks and poured that energy into this film. It's the best action movie of the year. Keeping your fingers crossed for the Flash, Keaton. Don't disappoint me. Well, guys, that was my review of Fast 10, Fast X, Fast and Furious 10. That was my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please take this in consideration for the next time. Go and actually check this movie out. I'm gonna check it out again. I can't wait to see it again. I'm gonna see it 5 more times before it gets out of theaters. It is so good. This film is going to break $1 billion at the box office, and it's probably going to go down as one of the best films in the franchise for sure. Stay tuned for my second Nolan Batman trilogy review coming very soon. Stay happy and fun, everybody. Stay full of energy and full of yourselves. Stay tuned, and I will see you guys next time.